Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and this is going to be a Christmas layout since today is Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we're going to do a rainbow Christmas page, so get ready for all the colors. And I've got some pictures here from a few years ago. We got a twister mat going on there and a basketball goal. You never know what may appear in our living room, but that was Christmas morning. So we got lots of colors in these photos. And I'm going to do some silhouette cameo cutting here. I'm going to use two of Paige's Christmas tree cut files, and I'm using the Go the Scenic Route collection. Now, I'm going to link these two cut files below. They're both called Christmas tree, but one is a solid, and then one has some little dots cut out of it with a little star on top. And I just chose papers from the Go the Scenic Route collection that made a rainbow and cut out a variety of these trees. And I had this vision of creating sort of a line or a horizontal line of trees, kind of like a little forest going across the page. And that's kind of where we're going to start. So when I make a layout like this, I gotta have mixed media on the background. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to go with white smooth cardstock here. This is the Basil Marshmallow, so it's nice and thick, and I love it for mixed media backgrounds. And I'm using clear gesso. This is the Art Basics Finnabair clear gesso, and I'm using a 2-inch silicone brush there to smudge it on. And this is just going to prep the paper for all of the liquids that I'm going to add to it, and it's going to allow the colors to blend and run together, and it's going to be awesome. So I've got that done. It's nice and dry. And the first thing I'm going to do is make a sky. Since I've got all these trees, I've pulled out a whole bunch of Shimmers paints. They're all sprays, and I'll tell you all the names. I'm using Vibes Snow Way Man, and I'm going to mix that with Deep Blue Sea, which is also a Vibes. And I'm just going to use some water. I'm going to use my brush. And the colors are just going to run and blend. I like to pick the paper up like that and just tilt it different directions and just let the colors do their thing, you know. This is the easiest kind of background to make. You just have to be willing to try it, willing to be patient for it to dry once you're done. But yeah, it's really easy. The colors do the work for you. So since the trees are going to go across the page at kind of the halfway point, I wanted a sky above, and I like that the sky is pretty easy to make. Just grab a couple different blues and you got it done. And it's going to dry pretty much like a sky because you're going to have some lights and some darks, and I love that. So I'm going to let that kind of run and blend. I let it kind of soak up just a little bit. I'm going to put that aside, and then I'm going to pull back all the trees, and I want to give them kind of a hazy, faded, snowy, weathered look. And I love to use white gesso for this because number one, it's white. Number two, it's easy to smudge on, and it's perfect for kind of fading out colors. And then when you're dealing with a Christmas or a winter layout, it is perfect for giving you that snowy effect. Now, I like to use my fingers for this. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I really don't. I feel like sometimes my fingers do a better job than a brush ever would. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to go through all of the trees and just kind of smudge and dab the gesso on so they look a little bit weathered and got a little bit of white on them. And it's very subtle, but I think it, you know, up close and in person, you can see it a lot better. So the background is not completely dry, but I wanted to bring the trees back and see if I have enough sky going on and see if the trees are low enough or if I need to move them higher, because I want the photos to kind of go where I keep placing them, kind of overlapping each other and kind of on the bottom left, because she's throwing the basketball toward the right corner of the photos, and so I want the effect of her throwing the ball across the page, and so that is why I settled for the photos to go on the left. All right, so I'm going to continue working on this. Now I know this is a very long video, And the bulk of this video is me making this background. I know it's long. You can fast forward if you want, but I like to keep as much of the process in as I can because it is a matter of layering. You know, you do a little bit, you leave it alone, you come back, add more, and it all depends on your preference. It all depends on what look you're going for. I felt like I needed some more darks, so I'm going to come back in with that deep blue sea spray and do the same technique. Add more, add water, use the brush, tilt the paper, and you can see how it's starting to get that swirly effect. And I think it looks like a legit sky. I like it. I like it. So we're going to go with that. It's mostly dry. I'm going to come back in with the trees, see how we're looking. And I'm really liking this. I don't want the trees to be perfectly straight. I want them to look kind of, you know, some are taller than the others and kind of overlapping and layered. So I looked at the background and thought, I need some cloud effects. So I first did this with the white gesso and started blending it. And then I realized you should have used the white paint. So I'm going to come back in a minute with my white acrylic paint and do basically this same type of technique. But I did start with the white gesso, and if I would have added enough gesso, it would have been okay. But it tends to be thin when I'm doing something like this, and I would have had to have added a lot of it. So you can't even really tell because I didn't add that much. I feel like the white paint would have been better suited for this. So I'm going to do that here in just a second. I'm going to bring all the trees back again, and I think I layer them differently every time, but that's okay. Until I get them glued down, they're probably going to look a little different as far as which ones are on top and which ones are in the background. But here's what I'm going to do with the white paint. I'm going to use my little, what's that thing called? Ink foam blending tool. There you go. And just dip it into the white paint and then do a little bit of smudging. I kind of press down and smudge kind of in a circular motion and then just kind of spread it around. It just depends on how it looks. The paint is going to dry thicker and quicker than the gesso, but I'm going to get more of a cloudy effect here with the paint because it's, you know, it's not gesso, it's paint. So it's going to look thicker and it's going to look white on top of the blue. And I think that looks so much better. I love that it looks a little cloudy. And yeah, I'm liking that. I'm spending a lot of time on this sky. So yeah, I think we're almost done with this sky, but you know I have to do my favorite snowy technique, and that is splattering the paint. This makes the perfect snow. It's easy, it's fast, it's gonna dry exactly the way it looks when it hits the paper because it's paint. And hello, computer. And if you want big, thick splatters like that, just hold it up high and then use your fingers to squeeze the bristles. Pop of paint there. But yeah, I had to have some snow, even though, you know, we're wearing shorts on Christmas Day and there's absolutely no snow anywhere near us because we're in Florida. I still like to dream and make a snowy page. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So now what I want to do, we're still on the background here, is I wanted to kind of put a rainbow variety of the sprays under the trees where each color is to make it look like each tree is kind of dripping the color down beneath it. So we're going to go through all the shimmers that match all of these trees and do a little spray of each color across the page. And I started with Spritz Cotton Candy, which is the light pink. The more of a bubblegum pink color is called Sweetheart, and it's a Vibes. Then I went with Mango Tango, which is a Vibes, and it's kind of a reddish coral color. And next we're going to orange. Now this color does not match the orange that is the orange in that tree, so I'm going to blend two colors together. That bright orange color, it's more of like a pumpkin orange. It's called Freshly Squeezed, but I'm going to mix in Mustard Seed Vibes, which is more of a golden yellow, and then smudge in a little bit of the Vibes Sweetheart, and it's going to tone down that orange and make it match a little bit better. And then, yeah, I'm just spraying the colors and using the brush to kind of blend them together because I want the colors to kind of blend from one into the next. And I want it to look watercolory. You know, I want it to look like the trees are kind of watering down underneath them, if that even makes sense. I just like the way it looked. This is a brighter yellow. It's a coloring. It's called No Yoking, because that yellow striped paper is a true bright yellow. The green I'm using is called Vibes Velveteen Green. And then I'm going to use a couple blues over on the right. This is my all-time favorite blue, Jenny B Blue. If I had to, you know, live on a deserted island with one shimmer's color, it would be Vibes Jenny B Blue, because yeah, that's my favorite blue. I love, love, love it. And then on the end there, we're going to go back to the Deep Blue Sea. And honestly, those are my main colors that I use frequently, especially for this collection, because they match. I know them by heart, and I know that they're going to be a perfect match to this collection. So yeah. Okay, so I'm liking how this is looking. This winds up being a lot more mixed media than I had originally anticipated, but you know, that's how things go, especially for me, because I get going and then one thing leads to another, and before you know it, I've spent, what, 11 minutes so far sped up and edited working on a background, and we're still not done with it. Yeah, I can't help it. I just love making backgrounds, so that's what we're doing. All right, I love how this looks. I love how colorful it is. I love how artsy and messy it looks. But then I realized when I put the photos down that all the pink and the reddish coral color was completely covered up. So what that told me is I need to do more of it and bring it down lower so you will be able to see it underneath the bottom of the photos. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pull it down lower, coming back in with the Cotton Candy, the Sweetheart, and the Mango Tango, and just use the brush, bring it down a little bit lower, let it run and blend together. And I'm not going to do every color lower, but I did want those colors to show beneath the photos because that's where they're going to go. And I felt like it would look weird if you couldn't see any of those colors, but you could see the rest of them. So do a little bit of the orange and the yellow mix again. And then at this point, I realized I have almost covered up this entire background. Geez, I need to like chill out and leave some white space. And I do. The rest of the layout is going to stay white because I always feel that I need some rest for my eye. I feel like sometimes, you know, the layout can get so colorful and so busy, whether it be the background or the patterns or the photos, that I never want the photos to get lost. You know, I want there to be some quiet space on the page, and that's what the white space is. So there you go. I got a bunch of the pink and the reddish coral color, but a lot of that's going to go away when I put the photo back on top of it. So sometimes you have to just customize a certain area of the page to accommodate your photo if you want the background to still be visible. You know, you spend so much time, especially in this case, I've spent so much time making this background. I want it to be visible. I don't want to completely make it disappear. So I think I've got it pretty much done. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling everything together. I'm going to add a little bit of white tissue paper behind my photos there, as well as some adhesive foam. I'm trying to use up some scraps of my adhesive foam that I've got that get lost on my desk. Surprise, surprise. Imagine that. My desk is so messy. Yeah, things go missing. It's like the Bermuda Triangle of scrapbooking. Do I ever really clean it up? No. Should I? Probably. Is it going to happen in 2020? Definitely not. We're just going to keep on with the messes. I know where everything is, usually. I say usually. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go through some of the trees and add some foam behind those. I want the ones in the forefront to pop up off the page because it's going to make them look even more dimensional and create even more depth with the trees in the background. And now you can kind of see the gesso that I put on the trees. Remember in the beginning I said you couldn't really tell, but now it's starting to show. And I did do a little bit of machine stitching on 2 of the trees, just zigzag back and forth, but you couldn't really see it. It kind of blended in too much, so I only did 2 trees, and then I kind of gave up on that and thought, well, it does add a little bit of texture, but from here you can't even really see it. You can see it better in the end photos, but and I didn't want to stitch on the trees with patterns or the trees with the holes cut out. So I just did 2. And I'm going to start to glue the trees down. I have to keep moving them around and they are ready to be attached. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm using Scotch tacky glue in my fine liner bottle there. This is my favorite glue. It's the only glue I've ever used in my fine liner bottle. I swear by it. I fully give it my seal of approval. It works great. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of those done. And then the rest of this layout is going to be embellishing while still trying to keep this Christmassy. And I feel like in the end, I accomplished that. All right, so here's what we've got. I know the photos are going where they're going. I like that you can see the mixed media around the photos down below. I'm going to start to add some thread here. I'm going to try at this point to do tone on tone, which means I'm going to add, you know, the yellow thread right there on the yellow section, and then some pink thread over on the left side where the pink section is. Actually, that's not pink. That's the coral. My bad. I do add some pink over to the left, but that thread is kind of a coral color. Here we go with the pink. But I do kind of mix and match colors and areas here as I get going. But yeah, this is a great type of layout to do tone on tone. So I went through all the embellishments. I've got some chipboard stickers, some die cuts. I'm going to wind up using some cardstock stickers. That little yellow chipboard sticker says happiness. I'm going to use one of these little label die cuts here. And when I was making this and I had that document this piece at the bottom, I thought this is too much red. And that's not like a true red color. It's kind of like a orangey red, but I thought this is just too much of this color. I need to figure something out. I went through the puffy phrase sticker sheet and cut out some of those multicolored puffy hearts, and this is where I thought, you know, I'm gonna have to mix and match colors based on the embellishments that I have left that I haven't used in this collection. I'm trying my best to do tone on tone, and a lot of these things are gonna move or I'm gonna change my mind, but this is just my process of trying things out and seeing, you know, if it looks decent there. And I like that little ticket die cut that says say yes to new things, because the basketball hoop was a new thing and she loved it. But I like that the ticket is the same color as the tree. So like I said, I was trying to do tone on tone things. I really like this little paper with the birds on it, and that's from the 6x8 paper pad, and they're perfect for looking for small embellishments. I'm going to fussy cut this little bird and try to attach the bird over to the left. And this is where I decide to just mix up the colors, because that bird is yellow, but I like that the bird is looking across the page, kind of in the same direction the ball is going in the photos. And yeah, I'm just going to start to try some things. This is a cardstock sticker that says love this, and that's tone on tone. You know, that's the same color in the same area. And then this heart though has some pink on it, but that's okay. Let's see. I'm going to use a couple of the top of the paper strips from the 6x8 paper pad, because the more I looked at the photos, the more I felt like I needed some kind of subtle layering around the edges. And all of these, the tops of the papers, the strips, the barcode. Actually, there's no barcode because these are the small, but the little parts of the top where you can tear the paper off are perfect for small little layer pieces like this, because you can't even tell that they were, you know, at the top of the paper. They're perfect for just kind of tucking in. And I'm just using a variety of colors. I've got some blue, some pink. I think I have a green one. Yep, here's a green piece. And I just tore them in half, kind of used my fingernail to ruffle up the edges, and then just kind of wedged it underneath there. And I think that layering like this is great because it helps separate the photo from the background a little bit more. I always like to make sure that the photos pop off the page. You know, I always want the photo to be front and center no matter what the mixed media or the papers or embellishments are, because, you know, you want everything to enhance your photo. And so I'm trying to make sure I'm not adding things that are going to take over the photo. And so I feel like layering kind of helps that. And I'm just showing you here that the chipboard 12 by 12 sticker sheet, I took a couple of hearts from there and I'm going to glue those down. And I tried to do those tone on tone. So I've got some pink on the pink, some yellow on the yellow, a light blue one on the light blue. And I didn't want to add too much to the trees, but I did want to add a couple of little things. So that's why I was looking for smaller bits. And then I thought about mixing and matching this little puffy word sticker sheet and doing the word Christmas in all different colors, like a rainbow variety. So I went through and did that, and then I didn't like it. I think it was because there was too much color. Like if you look at the pictures, I've got the little twister dots are all these different colors. And then when I put Christmas below that in a bunch of different colors, it was too much. I needed a solid color. So I dug back through my stash from the Pick Me Up collection, and I used these navy blue mini foam thickers, and I feel like this was much better. The letters are going to stand out a little bit more, but I didn't want them to be dark blue. So I'm going to use my white gesso with my finger again and just kind of lighten these up a little bit and make them look a little bit snowy with some white gesso. And I like that a lot better. I think the word Christmas stands out in one solid darker color than it did with the multiple colors. And that always just depends on the layout, depends on the photos, depends on where it is. You know, everything just is dependent on each individual project. Now I am going to use multiple colors, and these are the foam thickers that come in the Go the Scenic Route collection. And my title is going to be Christmas Hoops because it was different. I don't think I've ever used the word hoops on a layout before, ever. So yeah, I like how that looks. I feel like the multiple colors in hoops is okay because the Christmas separates it from the colors in the photo, if that makes sense. So I've got bright colors in the photo, a solid color word, and then multiple colors again. So it kind of breaks it up. I'm going to go back through the puffy phrase sticker sheet here and use a couple of those, just trying to decide where to put them. This one says start here. I'm going to add that. And I kind of like the way it fits underneath Christmas and hoops. It kind of, I don't know, it just fit. I like how that works itself in there underneath and then to the left of the H. And I'm going to go back to the cardstock stickers, and I like this one because it's orange, and I like orange and pink together. I'm going to pop it up with some foam though. I like to give some things some pop, and that one says celebrate, and we were celebrating because it was Christmas morning. This is a puffy sticker. No, it's not. It's a cardstock sticker, and it says awesome. I'm going to use that. I'm going to pop it up. And we're almost done here. I don't want to do too much more as far as embellishing goes because like I said earlier, I want to leave some white space. I've got a lot of color going on. My photos got a lot of stuff going on in there, and I don't want to add too much clutter because I feel like if you keep adding and adding, it's just going to turn into clutter, and there's going to be so much to look at. It's just like it shouldn't take you forever to look at a layout. And I feel like if I keep adding, you're going to have to spend 20 minutes just looking at it going, oh, there's this, there's that, there's this. And that may not be a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, I guess. But I just don't want there to be so much that you lose sight of, you know, what you're supposed to be looking at. Does that even make sense? Probably not. I added in some light blue thread underneath the light blue tree just because I needed some more thread in my life. And then I cut another bird. I cut another little birdie just because I have two more birds on there. I didn't want the one bird to be alone. You know, it's Christmas. He needed a friend. Now I sound like Bob Ross. All right, we're almost done. I promise. It feels like 3 hours later. We're getting close to the end. I'm using my ruler To make sure my journaling lines are straight, I'm going to use my metallic gold pen because I'm going to wind up adding some gold. I couldn't resist. And here I go, adding another heart. I just finished telling you not to add too much stuff, and yet I'm adding another heart. Okay, stop adding things. Stop it. All right, gold splatters. This is the Jen Hadfield Gold Glitter Spray. Basically the same thing as Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine. I felt like I needed a pop of shine. And then the last thing is the sparkle. This is my most favorite thing that I've discovered this year, the Nouveau Glimmer Paste. It's the most perfect way to add glitter and sparkle to anything. Just stick your finger in it, smudge it down, and you have instant sparkle. It's amazing. There's my final layout. We are finally done. Thank goodness. I love how this turned out. It was so much fun to make this. Took me forever, but I love the end result. It's so bright and so colorful. And, you know, I don't think I've made a layout using this gorgeous collection without using all the colors. I just can't do it. All the colors are gorgeous. I got a lot of close-ups here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some ideas from it at least. I know it took me a long time to make that background, but I loved making it. It's just my favorite thing to do. And I love all of these colors. You can see there where I stitched on the tree. But yeah, I love this collection. It is so versatile. I really didn't think I would be making a Christmas layout with it, but here we are. And I think it works, you know. You can see the sparkle from that Nouveau Glimmer Paste. There are all the thickers and the stickers. Love, love, love. But let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for sticking around and watching this behemoth of a video. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.